My name is Calloway. I'm the Associate Lab Director at Savannah River National Lab and the 2016 President-elect for the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. Today we have Dr. Lynn Orr, who's been sworn in as the Undersecretary of Science and Energy in December 2014. And Dr. Orr is the Principal Advisor to the Secretary and Deputy Secretary on Clean Energy Technologies and Science and Energy Research Initiatives. Welcome, Dr. Orr.
Thank you.
We have a lot of questions we'd like to talk to you about today, but just a couple that I think both the National Lab community and the chemical engineering community and industry would be most interested in hearing about. DOE recently published the 2015 Quadrennial Energy Review, which is really a follow-up to the 2011 Quadrennial Technology Review. Can you tell us a little bit about this and its impact and how the nation's energy landscape has changed over that period of time?
So in the first Quadrennial Technology Review, as you said, was in 2011. It was called for by the President's Council of Advisors in Science and Technology. And it looked at 17 technology areas that might have a significant play going forward. Here we are 4 years later. The energy landscape has actually changed dramatically, surprisingly dramatically in that time. And this one is a much more comprehensive review that really tries to span the full range from the grid to clean electric power generation to fuels to advanced manufacturing and so on, and also looks at the underlying science and computational capabilities that are so important. The changes in the last 4 years, I think most people would judge to be dramatic. Wind power, for example, is increased by 65%, up to 4.5% now of our electric power generation. Solar power has grown by 9-fold in that period. We will look back on this time as one with where there really is a sharp change in a transition in our energy mix that's likely to transform energy in this century. So the technology opportunities that are available for all of us in the research community and the industrial community now are part of what we review, but we also look forward to the research opportunities for the future. So it's really meant to be a comprehensive review of the state of play of energy R&D.
Well, the chemical engineering community is quite excited about a chapter in the Quadrennial Technology Review on advanced manufacturing, and I wonder if you could speak about, its impacts and what you expect to see going forward as it relates to the chemical industry.
Yeah, sure. So if you think about the industries that we have in the United States, they all depend fundamentally on the availability of energy to do their job. Some of the big ones are the chemical process industries and refining and so on, but virtually every manufacturing operation uses energy somewhere in there. We're now entering a world where sensors are cheaper, where they can communicate with wirelessly in a relatively inexpensive way. It gives us an opportunity to understand and link and integrate for example, the way we use thermal energy through a plant, and to control in a way that we never could before. Now, this means we have to deal with the avalanche of data, but it also gives us a real opportunity to understand what we're doing and to reduce energy use on the way. There are lots of individual technologies that range from additive manufacturing to roll-to-roll processing to on and on, fundamentally loaded with material science questions that involve materials that can survive at challenging conditions and improve process efficiencies. And then it's worth thinking about the systems aspect of all of this as well. There's an example in the report that looks at a part that goes in an airplane, and if you do the kind of additive manufacturing where instead of machining the part out of a billet of metal, you build it up with what amounts to 3D printing with electron beam melting to get things to hold together, that you can reduce the energy use from the combination of making it to using it by a factor of 3 over the lifetime of that part. So that's potentially important, and reduce the amount of material you have to buy to 1.5 times what ends up in a part versus 8 for the original way. So,
yeah, that
so
technology is amazing.
So big changes, plenty of opportunities. If you look at the report, there are 6 technical chapters, but each one is underlain by a set of technology assessments that are available on the web. So those that look at the overall report, which is also available on the web, energy.gov/QTR, you'll find that there are many. There's much more detail for the parts that you want to know more about.
Yeah, there's several chapters in there. Technology assessment, one on process intensification, which is a very germane chemical engineering subject area, and one that we're quite excited about. The community started the concept of smart manufacturing, and I know the department is very interested in that and helpful. Could you? And this is just an extra question, but could you talk a little bit more in detail about, say, smart manufacturing and process intensification?
Well, so the ideas there are aimed at reducing the footprint, reducing the size. In some cases, where we long invested in large scale systems to capture economies of scale, it turns out there are some settings where having smaller modular elements that you can bring on and off and operate to match with capacity makes some sense and reduce the overall capital cost of what can be some big investments that you know well from your applications at Savannah River, that there are sometimes when building a smaller unit makes more sense than building a
absolutely,
giant
sir.
one.
Yeah, that's very true.
So and there's a nice set of analyses in which the report looks at so-called bandwidth diagrams. So, what's the potential for using energy more efficiently and thereby reducing cost? In the end, I think what we're talking about here is making manufacturing in the United States and chemical processing and all the things that we do there more efficient than anybody else does. And if we can do that, then we can lead the world, and that's what we should do.
Absolutely, and taking the fact that we have low natural gas prices, making ourselves more efficient for the future would just create more jobs, I would think.
Right. So there's a huge space of opportunity. It calls for all the technical talent we can put on the field, and groups like the American Institute of Chemical Engineers are a vital part of making sure that all functions the way it should be.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an excellent discussion, and I really appreciate your time that you've taken to come out here to Salt Lake City and talk with us.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.